Dafne Keen is in a horror movie called Whistle, where she inherits a uh, yes death whistle that summons the specter of death once you put your mouth on it. Blow. Yeah, well, you guys got the picture, right? It comes in at a 60% on the tomato meter, so well, critics seem to like it, and I think the audience will too, because this is meant for the teenage crowd. This has got kind of like not quite the Scream vibe, but it's got like the maybe I know what you did last summer kind of crowd, where it's like, okay, this is like a B version of a better horror movie like Final Destination, because it is death that comes for you once you blow on this murder whistle. And it's a plot that we've seen before. Death comes for you, and you've kind of have to learn how to survive. The problems with this movie is the script. This is a very poorly written script where it's not well done. A misfit group of unwitting high school students stumble upon a cursed object, an ancient Aztec death whistle. They discover that blowing the whistle and the terrifying sound it emits will summon their future deaths to hunt them down. Directed by Corin Hardy. And this movie suffers from a runtime of an hour and 40 minutes, and it feels like 2 hours, man. Uh, it's got script issues in the sense that, okay, the setup seems intriguing, and the opening act is good. Like the opening scene establishes the tone for a movie that we don't get. It's kind of like none of these characters are interesting. I am a big fan of Daphne Keen because of Wolverine, right? And Deadpool and Wolverine. Come on. She's just got so much charisma in those movies. Here, her character just looks like this all the time. She doesn't show any emotion. It's just, oh, I'm a new kid coming into a new school. I don't like things. I'm unsure. There's just no emotion here. I mean, it's just so deadpan. It's like, okay, well, that's not if they're all happy and stuff, it's not being a positive or a good representation of what it is to be young. And it's kind of like, well, you kind of want some aspect of these characters to be appealing so you could relate to what they're going through. But other than her coming to town and maybe having some substance abuse problems, uh, like why would you be rooting for this character? She's really not all that interesting. Uh, the acting suffers because of that, um, because the characters are just written so poorly, where they don't really get much to do. Now, that doesn't mean that there's a few scenes in here that are okay, and it has to do with, I think, maybe the talent. You got Percy Hines White in here. It's kind of uh, like a Joseph Quinn lookalike. He's okay. He's got a scene in here with Sky Yang where they're just yelling at each other, and they actually get to have some emotion in here, where there is absolutely no emotion coming from Daphne Keen. Like no emotion at all. Oh, I'm sad. Or there's nothing like that. There's no big scene in here that makes you relate to her other than, oh, I like this person. Should I be texting them? Should I be letting them know that I feel like I want to be with them? And it's just like, it's just so flat. Oh, right. Oh, hey, this Sky Yang character was in that horrible movie, Rebel Moon. Ay, the less we say about that, the better. And Jaleel Schwabi. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. He's also a character in this. Dean. He's a standout. He's going to be in this Hunger Games movie, Sunrise. Or no, he was in that one. No, he's that Sunrise of the Reaping is this year. Um, okay, he was a standout. He's got some appeal there because he's got a few scenes in here that allow him to do that. Uh, It's just flat, guys. Oh, there he is right there. He's one of the basketballers. Um, it's just so flat, and it's not scary. There's a few like flash scenes like this where it's just kind of like, okay, maybe if you're not paying attention, it goes, ooh, like that kind of a scary. It's like, I wasn't expecting that. But there's nothing in here that'll make you go, I'm sweating buckets at night because I can't get to sleep because I'm thinking about this movie. And there's nothing. It's just so formulaic. It's deadpanned. You guys kind of get the impression as to where I'm going with this. It's probably not worth your while. So let's go over to the score sheet here and start filling in some numbers for uh, Whistle. And I'm thinking acting, directing, and story are out of a possible 2 points each. Cinematography and score are out of 1 point. Acting wise, it is serviceable. Even those scenes that I was telling you about with the two actors yelling at each other, yeah, it was refreshing to actually see some emotion, but it's just like there's just not enough of it. And it sucks because you know that Dafne Keen can act. So use her, for God's sakes. Let her improvise and work with the character, because this character is just like, you don't care. You really don't care about her. And the execution of the technical aspects is well done, but the story itself is just so formulaic. It feels like it's blowing a flat tire by the third act, where it's just like, can we just get this over with? We know that they're going to finally somehow get the death off of them. They're going to misdirect death, just like Final Destination, and it's going to turn into Flatliners. What? Get out of here with that nonsense. Story is 0.5 as well. Uh, okay, I'm going to be generous. And I'll give this story a 1 point here, because I'm going to look at it from this perspective. That if you've never seen a horror movie before and this is your first time seeing this kind of a movie, then some of these scares may work for you. Some of this mood and story is going to be like, oh, I don't think I've ever seen death as a character come after somebody. It's like, okay, if you haven't seen it before, then maybe this is good entry level horror, but it's not something that I think I would ever want to watch again. It was like pulling teeth near the third act. Ooh, ooh, yeah. Oh, I really like you. Please don't do what you need to do to survive. And now I'm just going to watch death kill you and be like, oh, that's a shame. Hey, let's seriously, that happens. It's just like, for God's sakes, man. And I got to fault the director for that. Cinematography and score. Were there some needle drops in here? Not really. Cinematography. There's some interesting work with there's like a corn maze that shows up at one point in this, but we're sitting at 3.5 out of 10 here. So let's go over to the tomato meter score here. Critics were saying here. So the Ramp. William Bibiani says, even though Whistle offers nothing new to the supernatural death curse genre, it's directed by Corin Hardy, and Corin Hardy likes to go hog wild. Uh, really? You liked it that much? I felt like this was just formulaic tripe. So, uh, Notfest says a few solid ideas, some decent scares, and an aesthetic worth admiring, all hampered by a script that never quite pulls its demons together. Yeah, because there's a couple moments in the second act where you're just like, I don't feel like I've been given all the rules yet. Like, I feel like there's a scene missing in here to help explain what the rules of all this is going to be. We're just sort of watching people die, and it's like, uh, Bipolar Bear seems to love this movie. Scream times Final Destination times Let Me In, I'm guessing. I loved it. Wow. That sounds like you have, well, you've seen your fair share of horror there. You're not calling out some of the cliche tropes and just flat storytelling, flat characters. I don't know. Renee says, worst movie I've seen, don't bother. Well, it's definitely not the worst movie. It's just formulaic, and there's just nothing memorable about it. Like there's nothing in here that makes me say, okay, guys, you gotta watch it because of this scene here. There's a really cool scene in here where you get to see two characters bounce off of each other. It's nothing like that. There's nothing like, there's a scene in here where you're gonna be watching some real good creature effects or kills. There's maybe one good kill, maybe one, but the rest is just blah. All right. Perry Nemiroff, also a horror fan, says the death whistle comes with endless creative possibilities for scares, and Corin Hardy and Owen Edgerton make the most of it. No, I gotta fault the director. This is all on him, I say. Whistle is the complete young adult horror package. So she also is making that comparison of like, I Know What You Did Last Summer, right? Great cast, clever concept, excellent execution, and a winning nostalgic feel. That's very generous of you, Perry. I can't agree. Uh, Whistle is an effective, nasty slasher that delivers a new riff on the Final Destination blueprint, finding inventive and entertaining ways to send its characters to the afterlife. Matt Donato also liked it. Whistle, at its best, a lively and ferocious teenage slasher ditty that brings that breakneck overdrive appeal and engaging rearrangement of Final Destination. Guys, now see, both Matt and Perry seem to also like Primate, which I felt was also formulaic and kind of not all that inspired. And here they're giving this also a pass. They're big into horror. They know their horror, and they're letting some of this stuff go. Maybe they are looking at it through the scope of somebody who hasn't watched a whole lot of horror and are trying to give you entry movies into this genre recommendations. Is the only thing I could hypothesize as to why they're saying that this movie's any good. Loud and clear reviews. By the end, Whistle feels less like a horror story and more like a frustrating exercise in wasted potential. There you go. That's the good one right there. Whistle. Feels like a frustrating exercise in wasted potential because you've got Dafne Keen. You've got an interesting premise with this death whistle. You just kind of fizzles out, man. And people were trying. People were trying. So let's wrap this up for my score sheet here for Whistle. Acting, well, sorry, watchability factors out of a possible 2 points. If you like the trailer, you like Dafne Keen, you want to see what this movie's about, 4.5 out of 10. There's really nothing about it, though, that'll make me say, guys, you got to check this out, because there's really not. Um, Even movies that I didn't really uh, like, like uh, Ape or whatever the heck the last one was called, Chimpanzee or whatever. I can't even remember the name of the movie now. And you just were talking about it. Yeah, let's just wrap this up. 4.5 out of 10. I just, yeah. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below and we will talk about it. Hey, if you like this kind of thing, we just reviewed The Strangers Chapter 3. Let me know what you thought about these movies and we'll talk about it in the comments below. You're watching Mirror Domains.